Hey everybody, it's Katie Jo with Sovereign Soul, and I want to talk to you a little bit about a leap of faith. So, at the time of this recording, it's 2025 and we're in November, but I want to tell you a little bit about what happened in January. For the last 6 years, I had a healing studio called Sage Canvas. And I started this in 2020 after having a baby unexpectedly in my mid 40s. We'll do another podcast on that. I don't, but no one could have foreseen the pandemic. And I was in a position where I needed to take care of a newborn and feed a newborn in a pandemic with social distancing and a formula shortage. So I left my longtime career and I opened my healing studio or the wellness studio. And we ran an average of 20 events a month, and we had multiple trainings, and we had amazing practitioners that rented the rooms, and we had this beautiful and successful business we created and named for us in the city and in the community for being a place in a sanctuary. But I was really getting burned out. And the way that commercial leases are, it's usually a 3 to 5 year lease. And my lease was coming up in 2025 in January. And my now son or baby had grown to 5 years old, was starting kindergarten. And I was really just asking those questions of what do I want to do next? And I had gotten pretty burned out with the studio. So I went to this business training called Success Coach in January down in Phoenix with my publisher. And she had put on this event, and I trusted it wasn't too much to go. I went down there for the weekend and I went. And as I went down there, she had this opportunity come, this opportunity to be on a TV show. And it was quite a big financial investment. And I didn't know how that was going to work out. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. And when the opportunity was presented, as always, when big things and big change and big risks come, you kind of take this breath and go, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do that. What I've learned is to get centered, to get silent, to tune into the heart and ask the question, is this in my highest good? And so I actually had to leave the conference. I walked out of the conference room. I walked into the side room where nobody was. And I took some deep breaths and I got grounded in my body. And I just breathed from earth to sky and sky to earth until I knew my energy field was neutral enough to ask the right questions. And then I tuned into my heart. And when I tuned into my heart, is this in the highest good for me? Is this in the highest good for me to take? If this is a huge leap of faith to do this. Should I do this? And I felt the answer yes. So of course I'm like, are you kidding? This is so much money. This is so, oh my gosh, I don't think I can. Let me check again. I think I checked 3 times. Yes, this is the next step. Yes. And I thought, okay, so here we go. I walked back into that conference and I wrote my name down and I committed. And I committed to do it. Now, in order to do that, I knew that I couldn't take advantage of these new opportunities coming if I still have the studio. So I actually just let everybody know that I was planning on closing the studio towards the middle of the summer. And what happened through this miraculous chain of events is somebody said, well, why are you going to close the studio? Why don't you just sell this? This is a successful business. And the truth is, I never even thought of selling the business. It didn't even compute that I could sell the business. And I reached out to a business broker. We evaluated the business. And within the first month, we had 30 offers on the table. So here we were selling the business. Now, my intention still is to create another studio. So let's talk about leap of faith and change. Because if you want something different, you have to do something different. You can't keep holding on to the past and change the future. So what I did is I knew that I wanted to shift out of the studio in Lehi, and I wanted to create something that's more down to earth and home. To do that, I spoke with my husband. We literally sold our home, and I thought, I'll see if we can sell the home, get some interest. We'll buy another property where I can build out a smaller studio to do 1 or 2 events a month after I finish the TV show and after we do all this stuff. Within 3 days of listing the house had an offer. So we didn't even have anywhere to go. We hadn't even put an offer on anything else. We had nowhere to go. And in 3 days, we had an offer on the house sell. So in a scramble, we ended up finding this property that's a little bit larger property, a tiny little house built in the 1960s that was an estate. But on the property, it has this barn from the 70s. It's a 50-foot by 60-foot barn, totally rustic. It was a mechanic shop, totally, totally raw and rustic, but it would be the footprint for the studio to come. So we went ahead and sold the house, started renovating on this new house that's much smaller than what we moved from, and has a can of worms of issues that we've been in the remodel with now. And the barn will eventually get redone. You may have seen videos and things of me working on it, doing a couple drum workshops there. But getting back to the TV show, since I said I'm ready for change, since I said I'm ready for something different, let me tell you what has happened. I've been filmed for Legacy Makers TV, Writers Island Season 1, and then was asked to come back film in the British Virgin Islands, Writers Island Season number 2. I was then asked to be filmed on a YouTube channel, The Weird World of Wendy's Weird World of Blue, and I was featured on a YouTube channel TV series. So that's 4 different TV shows, 4 different, and I can't say where Legacy Makers and Writers Island will be, but just know it's internationally streamed outlets. They're big. And then with Writers Island, we're writing books. And so the book that I have written and in editing right now, last round of editing that will then go to formatting, which is cover design and all of that, and putting together for being launched on Amazon. That's called Sovereign Soul. And that's quite an in-depth work. But also, I've since published my shaman manual this year, which is my 9-month course of shamanism, working through month by month spiritual concepts of universal shamanism found across the world. You can go through this on your own. I just published Year of Moons, which came out last week, which is a system that I use to really work through the shaman class, but this is not woo-woo. It's actually following goals, following the Farmer's Almanac, and it's a way to use the moon cycles to achieve your goals and dreams in life. I, this week, will have another book being published. That's the debut to come. And then I have my shamanic and my sound healing manual, not my shamanic, my sound healing manual, that's ready to be published by the end of the year. And I have 3 more books coming. So when I look at that, I look at just change. I've been to Miami twice, the British Virgin Islands twice. I've been to Wyoming to the Big Four Medicine Wheel. We went to Scotland. We went to Ireland to the New Grange Stone Circle. I've been to Idaho to see the petroglyphs. We went down southern Utah and did ceremony on the Red Rock, the Bryce Canyon and Zion. So look, I just am sitting here in awe at what it takes when you listen, when you tune in and you get the yes and you say, okay, I'm in. Everything has changed. Where I live, where I'm going, my career trajectory, all of that has changed because I dared to say yes. Well, I actually dared to listen, dared to tune in. And when I got the yes, I took that leap of faith. I didn't know how it was going to work out. How could I possibly have anticipated the business selling or having to have the house sell? All of this, I couldn't have known. And we're still in the middle. I'm still in the middle of that beginning of that threshold of what's next. And I don't know what's coming, but I know that I wanted change and I knew that I was ready for it. And I dared to do it. So if you're listening to this podcast today and there's something that you're wondering or your life isn't where you want it to be, I invite you to also take that dare, to go find that space, to find that neutral space through breath, through heart, through sound bowls, whatever that is that you can get centered and aligned. And in that place of surrender, ask your heart and say, what is the next greatest step, the next step for me, for my highest good? Is this a yes or no? What do I do? And when you get that answer, to trust and to do it.